U.S. tariffs spark crisis concerns in Taiwan's auto industry. Tragic string of fatal falls at Taichung Starbucks. Taiwan monitors Chinese rocket launch and military activity. Stocks surge after 90-day pause announced for most countries. Zelensky claims 155 Chinese fighting for Russia in Ukraine. King Charles and Queen Camilla meet with Pope. Meta expands restrictions for teen users. New Universal theme park confirmed for the UK.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It's Friday, April 11th, World Parkinson's Day, and here are your top stories. And for today's Taiwan news, the U.S. tariff policies have sparked widespread anxiety across Taiwan's agriculture, pharmaceuticals, and traditional industries. The auto sector has seen 3 consecutive days of market decline, leading to fears of a collapse. The Vehicle Association called an urgent meeting on the 9th with major manufacturers, warning of severe job losses and factory closures if the crisis continues. In a span of just over a month, 3 people have tragically fallen to their deaths outside the Starbucks on Green Park Road on Taichung. The latest incident occurred early on April 11th when a woman in her 20s succumbed to her injuries after falling. Police are investigating. The Taiwanese Ministry of Defense reported that China launched a carrier rocket from Sichuan's Xichang Satellite Launch Center, with its flight path passing over central Taiwan at an altitude outside the atmosphere, posing no threat. Additionally, Chinese aircraft and ships were detected near Taiwan's waters. Taiwan is closely monitoring the situation. And in global news, President Donald Trump announced a 90-day pause on tariffs for more than 75 trading partners that did not retaliate after his sweeping duties went into effect. China, which placed steep retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods, will now face an even larger hike in levies on its products, totaling 125%. The Treasury Secretary said afterward that the tariffs announced a week ago served as a way to bring countries to the negotiating table. Trump's announcement sent stocks surging this afternoon following days of volatility and losses.
People were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy.
China's Commerce Minister, Wang Wentao, told the head of ASEAN that China opposes the U.S. tariffs but will continue with countermeasures. According to a summary by China's Ministry of Commerce, Wang said the Trump tariffs ignore the fact that the U.S. has long profited significantly from international trade. China firmly opposes the U.S. tariffs and has taken decisive countermeasures. Wang added, if the U.S. insists on going its own way, China will accompany it to the end. Trump left new tariffs in place for China despite suspending most of them for other countries on Wednesday. The levies against China now total 125%.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says at least 155 Chinese citizens are fighting for Russia in the war. His comments come after 2 Chinese fighters were captured earlier this week, marking Kyiv's first official allegation that China is supplying Russia with manpower. Speaking to journalists on Wednesday, Zelensky reiterated his claim that there are many more Chinese nationals engaged in the conflict, based on information gathered by his government.
走到地方，boom boom 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 boom， 然后我的 commander boom， 然后就哇。
Responding on Thursday, a Chinese government spokesman said they advise relevant parties to correctly and soberly understand China's role and not to make irresponsible remarks. Foreign Ministry spokesman Lin Jian said, China is neither the creator nor a party to the Ukrainian crisis. We are a staunch supporter and active promoter of the peaceful resolution of the crisis. Mr. Lin said China has always required its citizens to stay away from armed conflict areas and avoid being involved in armed conflicts in any form, especially to avoid participating in military operations of any party. Beijing has previously denied that many of its citizens are fighting for Russia, saying the claim has no basis in facts.
Buckingham Palace said King Charles III and Queen Camilla met privately with Pope Francis in the Vatican on Wednesday, just weeks after Francis spent more than 5 weeks in the hospital. In a statement released by the palace, it said, "Their Majesties were delighted the Pope was well enough to host them and to have had the opportunity to share their best wishes in person." The royal couple recently marked the 20th anniversary of their wedding.
The Vatican said in a statement that the Pope expressed his good wishes to their Majesties on the occasion of their anniversary and sent back to His Majesty a speedy recovery of his health. Francis, 88, is recovering after a lengthy hospital stay with pneumonia, during which he was at times in critical condition and required high-flow oxygen therapy. He was released from the hospital late last month. Charles and Camilla are in Rome as part of a state visit. On Tuesday, they met the Italian president and toured the city. On Wednesday, Charles was scheduled to meet Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and address a joint session of Parliament, the first time a British monarch has done so.
Meta is expanding teen accounts, what it considers its age-appropriate experience for under 18s, to Facebook and Messenger. The system involves placing younger teens on the platforms into more restricted settings by default, with parental permission required to live stream or disable image protections for messages. It was first introduced last September on Instagram, which Meta says fundamentally changed the experience for teens on the platform. However, campaigners say it's unclear what difference teen accounts has actually made.
Companies that provide services popular with children have faced pressure to introduce parental controls or safety mechanisms to safeguard their experiences. In the UK, they also face legal requirements to prevent children from encountering harmful and illegal content on their platforms under the Online Safety Act. Those aged 16 to 18 will be able to toggle off default safety settings, such as having their accounts set to private. However, 13 to 15-year-olds must obtain parental permission to turn off such settings. Meta says it has moved at least 54 million teens globally into teen accounts since they were introduced in September. It says that 97% of 13 to 15-year-olds have also kept its built-in restrictions.
The first universal theme park in Europe will be built in the UK, the government has promised. The attraction will be constructed on a site near Bedford and is expected to create an estimated 28,000 jobs before opening in 2031. Universal estimates the 476-acre complex could attract 8.5 million visitors in this first year. The Prime Minister said the multi-billion-pound investment by the company would make Bedford home to one of the biggest entertainment parks in Europe, firmly putting the county on the global stage.
Universal Destinations and Experiences said 80% of those employed in the new jobs would be from Bedfordshire and the surrounding areas. The company, which has produced films including Minions and Wicked, operates theme parks in Orlando and Los Angeles in the U.S., as well as in Osaka, Japan, Sentosa, Singapore, and Beijing, China. Culture Secretary Lisa Nandy hailed the landmark investment as fantastic news for the economy. A full planning proposal will be submitted to the UK government, with construction expected to start in 2026. Universal said it surveyed more than 6,000 local people and organizations, and 92% of them supported the project.
The answer for yesterday was C, diverge. The hiker decided to take the path that did not diverge from the main trail. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into today's news. Stocks surge after 90-day pause announced for most countries. Number 1, retaliate. 报复. The company decided to retaliate against its competitor for the unfair practices. Number 2, sweeping. 广泛的,全面的. The government introduced sweeping reforms to improve the education system. Number 3, steep. 陡峭的,急剧的. The hiker struggled to climb the steep mountain path. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section, and the correct answer will be announced tomorrow. World Parkinson's Day marks the birthday of Dr. Jake Parkinson every April. On this day, there are efforts made to increase the public awareness of this terrible disease, as well as all the good works put forth by the world's organizations that are dedicated to preventing and finding a cure for this debilitating disease. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune in to Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host, and I'll see you next time.